Hi, this is Abel Stewart. Welcome to lesson 14 of our guitar class series. And today we're going to learn about keys and why are there keys, what's the point of those, and what do we need to know for playing guitar about those keys. So first of all, a key is really it's a context. If I'm doing a certain chord and the song I'm doing gravitates around a certain chord or note, we could say the song is in that particular key. So a really good example is that when we learned old-time rock and roll, it was in G. Just take those old records off the shelf. I sit and listen to them by myself. Today's music ain't got the same soul. I like that old-time rock and roll. So you notice I started out on G and I kind of finished that phrase or pattern on G. It gravitates around G. Now I can start on a different chord. So let's say I want to say, oh, I want to do this in the key of D. I'm going to have to change a few of the chords around that to match that new context. So I'll show you what I mean. Just take those old records off the shelf. I sit and listen to them by myself. Today's music ain't got the same soul. I like that old time rock and roll. So you notice there I started on a D, listen to them by myself. Now the G is in a totally different position. I don't start with that and finish with that. You still have the D, you still have the G, but they're in different places and used in different ways. And then I have an A, which if I'm in the key of D, that's the chord that I need to put there in that part of the song. All right? Now why do we want to do that? Why just say, whoa, I just want to do everything in the same key. Why do I have to learn other things? Well, vocally, there are keys that lay better than others. So you notice, I have old records off the shelf. I sit and listen to them by myself. You notice it starts to get a little lower voice range there. So G, take those old records off the shelf. I sit and listen to them by myself. For a lot of people, that's going to lay in a much better range of their voice to sing in. And so, for instance, some of the songs that we've done before, let's say take something like Amazing Grace. A lot of times Amazing Grace is done in the key of F in a lot of hymnals, but in our class we've learned it thus far in the key of G. It's a little high, it's still singable, but key of D is probably a better key for that for a lot of people. But to show you an example of the key you wouldn't want to pick, let's try it in the key of C. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. Now for some people who are much like more tenors, sopranos, who sing high naturally, that saved a wretch like me. For me, that really doesn't work, and for a lot of folks it wouldn't. There are those for whom it does. And so let's say you're a singer, say, man, you know, that feels really good for me, that key that you just did. Maybe you're a tenor or soprano. Hey, great. You can transpose, if you're doing leading a song, you know, for like a solo special music, something like that, you can transpose it there, and that's fine. The beauty of that, if you know the different keys, you can put it in whatever key works best for your voice or the voice of the people that you're leading. And so knowing some of those different keys is really helpful to help the singing and to help people feel more comfortable getting involved and participating in that. So that's why we do different keys. We'll learn a lot more as we go about how do you put together different keys, how do you know which chords to use and things like that. But for now, I just want to introduce the concept of a key, why we fool that in the first place, and how it can be really helpful in some different things. So what we're going to do now is a lot of the songs that we've already done in the key of G, I'm going to reintroduce those songs in some of the next lessons in the key of D, and that will give you a couple keys to work with, to start with. So, hope that helps.